Day post-Christmas here, 21/6 at 9 a.m., which means that it's time for Lisa's Changing Perceptions. And this morning, Lisa is going to talk about the New Year resolution that will last a lifetime. Lisa, good morning. How are you today?
I am well, Pete. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm Lisa with Lisa's Changing Perceptions. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you who follow every week, thank you. You can reach me at lisaschangingperceptions.com. You can call me or text me at 262-573-7055, or you can email me at lisaschangingperceptions@gmail, as well as find me on Facebook under Lisa's Changing Perceptions, or always at 216thenet.com. You can go through to contact me as well. So to kind of get that out of the way. And I think also we need to get out of the way. We do have a wonderful sponsor that we want to honor.
We do, absolutely. And that would be the Bremer Team, Keller Williams, North Shore West, bremerteam.com. They bring families home, bremerteam.com. Reach out to Dawn Bremer herself. Tell her Lisa and Uncle Pete said you will help us with our real estate needs. And she'll say, of course I will. There you go.
I want to cover a couple things before we get started this morning. One is, Pete, I'm going to ask you to share for people listening. First off, I'm going to throw out something for Pete here. I get comments about how good you are on here with me, and people really enjoy hearing you on here with me.
Oh, thank you.
So I thank you for being my voice to communicate with. But also, for all of you who love hearing Pete does voiceover work. If you're looking for a commercial for your business, or you're looking for a recording for your business's phone system, or whatever it is, Pete's wonderful radio voice is up for hire.
You're hawking me. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah. Yes, I am going to hawk Pete, because Pete does so much for so many other people. So those of you who are listening that are business owners, near or far, who are looking for a commercial for their website or their phone system, or even a calling system, call in somebody to talk in there, please know that that is something that Pete does do, and his wonderful voice can be heard for you daily at all times if you choose. And I'm assuming that they would contact you through 216thenet to do that as well.
And just 216thenet@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help. Well, thank you very much, Lisa.
You're welcome. And then for the people, Pete, I'm going to ask you to fill in this blank for me.
Okay.
For the people who do not care for the Zucker platform, and choose to listen, they enjoy listening on 216thenet. I do have people who comment that they just listen through the station because they don't care for the other platform in which we do video, but they certainly wish that they could see the live videos as well. And I know that there's a way you told me that we can do that through YouTube, and I am not technology literate, so I'm going to ask you to please let people know who do not have the Zucker platform how they can watch the show still live in camera.
If you would like to watch rather than just listen, because of course you can go to 216thenet.com and click listen live. Of course, all the Droid users can go to the Google App Store and download the app, which there are just thousands upon downloads. Thank you so much for all of you who listen that way. It's very awesome. And then you can also go to radio.garden, and look up 216thenet, where we get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of listeners all the time. Thank you so much for all of you there. But if you want to watch, simply go to YouTube and search 216 the net, and just 216 space the space net. You'll find us. You can subscribe, like, and share. And as soon as we're almost there, I think we've got 91 subscribers at the moment. As soon as we hit 100, we can create our own custom URL for YouTube, and then we'll be marketing the holy Mary, Jesus, and Joseph Christmas out of that. I'm going to say it the nice way, but we'll be marketing that like crazy. But if you don't have a YouTube channel and you want to chat, all you need is a Gmail address. So if you don't have a Gmail address, just go to Google and create a Gmail address, and then go to YouTube. You'll log in, and you can have your own YouTube account. You can chat away. Like we've already got Ted. Good morning, Ted.
Good morning,
has already
Ted.
Joined the show. He says, good morning. Hope you both had a great Christmas. We did. And Ted says he'll be in touch soon. And he says he's also shared your show, He said, I shared, so you know.
Thank you.
And Sandy Gibson also says, good morning. Good morning, Sandy. How you doing? But that's really all there is to it. You can create your own Google your own Gmail account, go onto YouTube, and it will let you chat away. And that's on the live stream. When you open a live stream, it automatically opens into chat. And then you can actually start posting like crazy and having good times. And you'll see more and more and more of 216 The Net's live shows shift away from Zucker's platform and more heavily into the YouTube channel. Some have already made that shift, but there we go. I've taken up a whole 3 minutes talking about that.
That's okay. So for those 40,000 plus listeners that are coming each week, and you have no idea the gratitude I have for that, if you choose to do so, please go to YouTube and click subscribe. And you can follow live as well as watch the video. You can watch my awkward moment at the end of it when Pete's shutting things down and I'm sitting here very stupidly with nothing to say and I can't do anything for the last minute of the show, which always makes me crazy. And you can actually see it live on camera when I'm incredibly awkward and not knowing what to do with that minute of time. But grateful. Even if you don't choose to necessarily watch all the shows through YouTube, if you choose, we would be very grateful if you even went to the YouTube and just clicked subscribe. I have 40,000 plus regular listeners now. And again, I have great gratitude for that. And I'm asking each one of you, which would be fabulous, to please go to YouTube and subscribe. And let's get this party started, so to speak. Let's start the new year with a big bang. So that is my request for you all.
That would be awesome. And Wendy Munson, who you were just asking about.
Good morning, Wendy. I was just asking about you.
Says good morning. So there you go.
And I'm going to let you know as well that if the show's becoming more popular, people are getting more comfortable. I would like in 2021 to make it a little more interactive. So I would like feedback from you all as to if you would prefer to call in or if you would like to be able to have a show every so many times or what have you, where you can just come into chat and ask a question about a topic. We will keep your name anonymous, on the air if you prefer, or whatever you want, but and to know how that goes, because I would like to make it interactive. I don't want people to be shy to ask a question about something that may really help or they're really struggling with. So there we go. Did I cover everything? I think I covered everything. Right?
I think you did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So today's topic is the New Year's resolution that will last for a lifetime. And I've thought about this, and as always, life has brought situations to me over the last week or two that make me kind of want to go on the air and do a topic. And now that Christmas is over, Christmas Day anyway, is over and past, now it's going to start with the New Year's resolutions and people talking about their New Year's resolutions and what they're going to do. And, the very common ones, I'm going to switch jobs, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to, all these things. And I sat and I really thought about those for a while. And what I realized is, does anybody realize that we start off the new year looking at our flaws? That really, we're starting out a New Year's resolution for the most part, for most people, is we're starting off the new year saying, okay, this is where I sucked the year before. So now this is what I'm going to do this year different. This is where I wasn't good enough the year before. So this is where I'm going to do something different. This is where I'm not good enough in society and life, in my life this year. So I'm going to do something more. That's really kind of, to me, what those were accounting to when I was watching it. So I thought about it for a while and I decided I would throw this out for seed planting or for option. What if your New Year's resolution was to sit down, take a step back, and completely accept who you are in this moment and where you're at? And be real with it. Just be real with it. Your flaws.
Just to reflect, to examine.
And be totally truthful. You don't have to be like me and come on the air and, vomit your skeletons on the table for the world to see. You can sit with yourself in quiet and be genuinely honest with yourself about exactly where you are, who you are, what you look like, what mistakes you feel you've made in life, what also fabulous triumphs you've made in your life.
Yeah.
How each one of them brought you to exactly where you are, about how you feel about things, about how you look at the world, your cracks and your flaws, as well as your fabulous parts, and you just totally got to know yourself. Now, this doesn't mean acceptance of self. This is the question about this, and this is where people struggle with this. Acceptance of self does not mean that you don't need to change, choose to change, want to change. Not in any way, shape, or form. In truth, to me, acceptance of self means you speed up the process of all of those things. Because when we spend so much time and energy battling to hide, so much time and energy battling to repair and fix things that truthfully cannot be repaired or fixed. We cannot repair or fix our past. But we can look at it and say, where did I make myself proud? Where did I make myself not so proud? Okay, let's look at that and accept that. And you know what? I'm going to choose. And be aware of what things make you feel like. Be aware of the people in your life. Be aware of the things that you do. And when you can totally accept who you are in the moment, in this literal moment, and accept it, good and bad, so to speak. I don't necessarily, I look at past mistakes as great lessons, but if you want to look at it that way, good and bad, you become very, very aware of the true you, the you that you are. We talked last week about, can a zebra change its stripes? And I said, well, what if the zebra is your heart and spirit? So, the rest of it's all covering. What if you really looked at the zebra and said, who are you? How do you feel? What things are you thriving for in your life that are because society told you so? What things are you punishing yourself for in life because society told you so? Or your job told you so, or your family told you so, or your friend, or whatever the situation should be. And just really take some time to look and say, who am I? Who am I right now in this moment? All my broken, shattered pieces and all my shiny, brilliant pieces, and all the things, hopes and dreams that didn't come about, hopes and dreams that did come about that you never even knew you wanted. All of those aspects of you, and become very familiar. And then throughout the year, being very aware of your energy and how you feel and how different things affect you, make your choices.
Yeah.
Who's good for me in my life? Who isn't good for me in my life? Who stuck with me when I sucked and saw me as not sucking, even though I knew I was sucking? who cheered me on when I had victory? Because many people run from others who are getting a victory. They don't want to cheer someone else on. They look at it self-reflectively. Who supports me? Who forgives me? Who do I forgive? Who do I think of the first thing I wake up in the morning? Who do I think of the first thing I go to bed at night? Or what do I think of? Really get to know yourself. And when you really get to know yourself and you're accepting of yourself, good and bad, and you can become very familiar with the energy of that, throughout the year, then just pay attention to what that is. And by the end of the year, probably much sooner for most, you'll start to discover, this is why I feel stuck. Because I feel obligated to this job or to this person or to this situation. Many people feel obligated to others because of DNA alone. Many people feel obligated to others because maybe there was a time in their life when that person really was a great person for them. And the reason I even bring that up is because oftentimes people say, but I can't walk away from that situation even though it's not good now because there was a time when it was good and I owe them something. The only thing that we owe to anybody, in my opinion, is to be the best us that we can be, because that is what then we're offering to those around us. So to stay obligated to a situation because of some society belief or tie is really holding us back. What if it's holding you back from your victory? The other thing that I've found oftentimes in our society and when I talk to people is that they have this belief in love or war. You're either totally in somebody's life and they're totally everything, or you have nothing to do with them and there's no gray area.
Yeah,
There certainly can be a gray area.
I can kind of relate to that. Before I get into that, Ted says acceptance of self was always a difficulty for me growing up and as a young adult. Glad I have been able to, for the most part, recently do that. Ted also says that letting go of people, he says that is something really difficult to do, to let go of people who hold you back. And yeah, that can be difficult. And I can relate on I tend when people make me angry or they prove disloyal, and I don't know why that is such a big, I mean, I kind of do, but disloyal or untrustworthy, they just don't exist anymore in my world.
That's the love or hate atmosphere. Yeah, that is the total love or hate. It's love or war. And it's an all or nothing thing.
They're gone. They don't exist.
And to me, there doesn't have to be. Yeah. I have so many different types of personalities in my life, people with personalities in my life. I have friends that have absolutely nothing. I have friends that are multimillionaires. I have friends that are doctors. I have friends that are bikers and truckers. And I just all these great facets of people. And it's a really strange thing because the truth is that every single one of them holds a great value in my life for an aspect of me, because we're not one aspect. I have times when I'm very sad and I isolate myself, and I've admitted that on the air. I go into my little isolation mode when I know something needs to happen here. I'm stuck. And I have times when I don't feel the greatest about myself. And the truth is, as I go to my biker trucker friends who I can walk in, and I go in, just for the record, I go in there sometimes dressed like this, and I got my 1985 hair and my jewelry. And I even had the 3-wheeled motorcycle that they all teased about in my pink leather jacket. And they completely accept me. And it's the most loving, wonderful feeling ever. They never ask me about my mediumship or readings. They know about it. They accept it, but they're kind of like, yeah, that's that thing she does. Like
that's the thing.
So I'm not required to be. They don't want me to solve their problems because they solve their own damn problems. Like they don't want to hear anything psychological. I just get to go there and I get to just be. And that's my people for that. But that lifestyle, the party and the bars, the whole thing, yeah. I've outgrown that. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I've kind of outgrown that. That's just not my lifestyle anymore. I'm old with 1985 hair and big jewelry. It's just not my thing anymore. But there's a place in my life for those people that's in my heart. But it doesn't mean that they're people that I talk to every single day. It doesn't mean that they're people I'm with every single day. But the moment that I walk through that door, I am genuinely loved and welcomed. And I don't live that lifestyle anymore. There was a time, but I don't have that lifestyle anymore. And truthfully, when my life crumbled after my husband died, and I was an absolute nervous breakdown basket case, making the most irrational decisions and mood swings and just a crazy ball of mess in the moment. These people came in and swooped me up. And if they called to check on me and my voice cracked, within an hour, Harleys were pulling up in my driveway going, all right, girl, you're not going to sit in the house and cry. Get your butt on your bike and let's go. And we would just go ride. And they've got a great place in my life. But now I've begun to get my head back on straight a bit. And I've begun to kind of look, and I have aspirations to public speak and to deal with mental health and addiction. And, I have all these aspirations, and I don't live that lifestyle, but I don't have to leave those people. And
no.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we tend to believe that because something doesn't suit our moment, that by letting go, we mean slam that chapter closed and those people have to go.
No, not at all. And don't get me wrong. It's when I cut people off, it's because they've given me what I believe a sincere reason to be done.
Okay. But what if, we'll add some what if showing. What if you didn't have to cut them off? You just knew that in your storybook, okay, yeah, those were just people that you realized aren't your trustworthies. Those aren't the people you're going to confide in, but you could still have them in your life, because here's the thing. Spirit brings us many different types of people and many different types of experiences so that we grow.
Okay, I get that. And But there are people that I truly enjoy, but I don't talk to them on a daily basis. I don't encounter them on a daily basis. In fact, it was funny.
But what if we didn't slam the book on someone who made us uncomfortable? I don't mean toxicity and abuse. I'm going to put that out there all the time. I never mean that.
It's not uncomfortable. It is, I guess it's hard for me to verbalize. When someone shows themselves to be, for me, someone that I cannot trust or has demonstrated complete disloyalty, if there is no reason, really no reason for them to exist in my life, they just don't.
What if you close it off before you know the reason? What if, and again, I'm not saying that we should trust, then don't trust somebody who's disloyal, and don't trust anybody toxic or hurt.
There's no reason for me to interact with them.
What if you don't know that? What if by slamming the door rather than just accepting? What if they're showing you their greatest weakness? What if you're their opportunity to learn? Now, again, I'm not saying that we have to, but what if you're, rather than they're in your life to change you, which I still believe they kind of would be, because we got to kind of take some walls down there a little bit.
Yeah.
What if you're their prayer? What if by you saying, you know what, honesty and disloyalty, those are boundaries I have set, and I want you to know you have really crossed them. And what you've done has really created a big crack in the foundation here. And I'm not even sure that I can find acceptance of you because of it. I just want you to know that this really hurt me, what you did, because the truth is disloyalty hurts you, and there's a reason for that. So you want it out. I don't want to feel that. I don't want that. It hurts me. It's out. And what you did really hurt me, and I want you to know that. Now, does that mean we have to say that to every single person on the planet? No, we're not responsible for all of that.
No.
But there are people in our life that are important to us, or that we feel a connection to, that all of a sudden in a short period of time or a long period of time do something significant that has hit our boundaries. And what do? That made us uncomfortable. They did something to harm me, and slam that book closed, because we don't understand ourselves. Because the truth is dishonesty and disloyalty hurts you. You were hurt by dishonesty and disloyalty in your past, so therefore you will not have it be a part of your life anymore. And I get that, and that's okay.
But
with the resolution of understanding that about yourself, it can become less of a trigger and less of something that you slam the book on. Because the universe brings us people in and out of our lives. Sometimes,
it does.
In truth, the people who piss us off the most are our greatest blessing. The people who go to your face and are honest and say, you know what? I found what you did to be unacceptable. I found what you did to be disloyal and hurtful. And then maybe you choose to make amends with that person depending on their response. Or maybe you choose not to. Completely, absolutely up to you. What if you were their blessing? What if no one ever told them? What if no one ever said it? What if they truly don't realize that that's wrong? What if that hasn't been their experience? What if they've lost 100 friends and nobody ever bothered to tell them why, and they're just sad they don't understand why that keeps happening? I'm just saying, know yourself well, know your heart, know what's really you. The struggle that I see happening is that the majority of us do not know that. We know the you that's the reason I brought up all the different types of groups of friends that I have. Because here's the truth. I'm weird all the time.
You don't say.
Yeah. I'm weird all the time. I'm mouthy all the time. I'm outspoken all the time. I'm passionate all the time. I have 1985 hair all the time. I am me all the time. And it's funny because when clients come into the office, I talk to them just like this. I talk to them when you and I are off the air. I talk just like this. There's no difference.
Yeah, you don't have a separated persona.
No.
There's not on-air Lisa versus off-air Lisa.
No. I can be quiet when I'm outside my box. I can be a little more quiet. I know that's shocking for you all. There's your little Christmas miracle. Lisa can be quiet at times, and it's true. Usually when I'm real quiet, it's because I'm very in my head, sorting things, sorting things out. But I am me all the time. And here's the reason I bring that up is that it took everything I went through. It took my husband's death and a very complicated relationship and struggles with my children and friendships lost and a parent who didn't believe in what I did and thought I was crazy. It took all these hardships and all these struggles and truthfully, the death of my husband, I would have to say, was probably the biggest of all of them. But to go, you know what? Who am I? Who are you now? You have to refigure your life, Lisa. Everything you ever knew has just changed. Who are you? Because the truth is before I didn't wear big jewelry. I've always had big hair, just for the record. I have really had 1985 hair since 1985. Hey. And the woman who cuts my hair and went to high school with me will vouch.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I remember, the girls in I graduated from high school in 84, 85, something like that. But in the early 80s, if you were a girl walking down the hall and your hair added another foot to your height,
higher the hair, closer to God.
Yeah, exactly. Higher the hair, the closer to God.
And the only reason my hair is not even bigger
and the more popular
is
as well.
Because as I've gotten older and I have a hormone disease, and as I've gotten older, my hair has gotten thin. So my hair is probably a third of what it was back then.
Sandy also says, the higher the hair, the closer to God.
That's right. So bring it up. Bring it up.
And Ted was actually agreeing with me on the cutting people off. But I think maybe you've given me something to think about there, because you're absolutely right. It's the honesty and disloyalty are two big triggers for me because of things that have happened in my life. And I just tend to be like, all right, I know what happens when this happens, so there's no need for me to deal with that.
Right. So it's a deflection of discomfort. Yeah. It's a deflection of pain. It's a deflection of possible hurt in the future that you have felt in the past.
Yeah. And there's, so I say, you know what? I already learned my lesson on this one. Done. And that may very well in some cases be exactly what you need to do. My curiosity would be, how many people would have been your bridge down the road, your blessing down the road, or whatever. And I'm not saying that we have to invite these people into our lives. My point in this is, in this New Year's resolution that'll change your life, is when we self-understand why we react the way we do, and we're honest with ourselves about how we feel, and we're honest with ourselves about our reactions that aren't good, as well as our reactions that are good. And we start to really delve deep about how do we feel. There's times like, it's funny because even on the way in, I was on the phone with a friend this morning and I said, God, I'm really excited to do the show today. I must need some energy because when I do this show, my vibration gets real high. Like I get excited. It makes me happy. It's one of my happy moments. And I thought, see, that's what I mean. Like, when we can become familiar. Now, does that mean I don't have to go do things that don't make me happy and uncomfortable? No, of course I do. Everybody does. We all have to do crap we don't want to do. Be real. If you're going to live in that fairy tale land, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But to know the difference of, all right, I have to go do this. It's a need. Yeah. And I don't really like it. And it's not going to be the greatest thing in the world. And I'm going to go get it over with. And I'm going to do it the best I can anyway, because that's my integrity and character. And then when it's done, I'm going to remember that I get to go do my show, or I get to go see my client, or I get to go do my thing that makes me happy. And just knowing the differences between those things and accepting the differences between those things makes life a little easier, makes life a little better. But for all of us who have felt stuck, which I have felt very stuck these last couple of years, it has been a huge growth period for me and not always nice. When we say we feel stuck, what is it? Why are we stuck? What if it's because we forgot how to feel? We don't even know who we are. And I brought this up on the air before because I hear people all the time when I say, what is it you want from me? What is it you're coming to me for? Because I need to know where, what is it? Everybody's goal is different, And so many times, it'll be 99% of the time, they will say peace in my life or happiness. And I say, okay, define that. And they can't. Yeah.
And that is so true for so many of us. What is peace and happiness? We walk around screaming we want peace and happiness. We even walk around and we say we want kindness. We want people to be kind. What is kind? Define your kind. Define what kind is. And here's the thing. People will say, kind is being nice to somebody else. What's nice? Is it nice that you confront somebody and say, you know what? I am sorry to say that what you did crossed a border. And for me, trust and loyalty is incredibly important. And I'm really struggling with this because I think you've crossed a boundary that I'm not sure that I can forgive. I'm not sure that I can let go of. And that's fine. You have that right to walk away. But is it kind to allow another person to know what they've done?
Yeah, I think so. I do. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong either. I've let people know in no uncertain terms. No.
Right. Okay. But did you do it kindly?
No, I was not always kind about it.
And do you know why that is? Because that's when we have our most courage. When we're angry, we have the most courage.
Yeah. And there have been times when I have been very kind and have learned how to say, you know what, here's the situation. Just as you suggested there, this is not reparable for me. So just so you're aware, this is it. We're done. We're over. A lot of that.
What if instead of you're done, we're over? What if you said, I can't see right now where we're going to be able to have a relationship that has a great trust value.
Yeah.
And then let it be. Doesn't have to be. And now I'm cutting you off and I'm throwing you in the hole and you're over. I can't see right now where we're going to be able to have a relationship that has a trust thing. And here's what happens. This is what people do. See, I say people like it's not me, but it is me too. When something triggers us and makes us uncomfortable, and for yours, it's the trust and loyalty thing, okay? And we aggressively point it out. We either cut it off because we're not going to we're not getting triggered, we're not getting hurt, we're not getting used like we did, we're not getting people are not wiping their feet on us like they have in the past.
Yeah.
Or we do address it and we address it aggressively. Do you know why we address it aggressively? One is that's when we have the most courage. Do you know why we have the most courage? Because we're at a point where if they try to deflect back to us or mirror back to us something that could be our flaw or role within it, we can knock it away. Yeah. That is our greatest fear in kind confrontation. Yeah. Is kind confrontation where you just say, you know what, I don't feel this. If we're honest with ourselves, one of our fears within kind conversation, let's call it conversation instead of confrontation.
Yeah.
Is they may say, I can understand where you're coming from. Do you realize this is how I saw it? And maybe we weren't perfect.
And
maybe
not.
They looked at from a completely different perspective.
No. And that is quite possible. Ted says, my biggest issue is getting upset at people for not including me just because of things having to do with my disability. I tend to overreact when they do that. And I could
understand where that's hurtful.
That. Yeah.
And I'm going to address that in the same way that I addressed someone who's in recovery who was very hurt because someone had come in from their past and they were very excited because just so that you know, when you get sober, all those great friends tend to go and leave your life. And it's a very lonely time, but it's because you're a mirror. You're a mirror of what they now there's no more comfort. Like if you and I are both out doing something really stupid together, we can kind of justify that it must not be stupid because these people are going with us, right? These people are doing it with us. But when somebody steps back and goes, do you realize what we're doing? I'm not going to do that anymore. That's harmful or to me or to others or to whatever. Then all of a sudden we become the mirror reflection and not the gang member. Okay. So I had this conversation because somebody had come back into their life and they were very excited because they hadn't talked to them in many, many, many years. And they talked to them one day and it was really exciting. And they even, let's get together. Let's, next week or two, let's have dinner or, whatever. And they were very excited about it. And then the next time that they talked on the phone to set that up, the person said, oh, by the way, just to let you know, I'm sober. And the person was accepting of that fact. That person wasn't sober, but they were accepting of the fact that this person had gotten sober. And then they never heard from them again. And they never set up that dinner arrangement. And they were very sad, and they took it very, very personally. And I said, I understand where you could take that personally. That would sting. You were excited. That's that thing that we were talking about, being on the roof, being on the stairs.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to get too much anticipation, because the letdown really sucks. And I said, have you ever thought or considered step back and just realize we have segments of our life and you outgrew that one? And did you ever stop to think, as you're beating yourself up, that there must be something wrong with you, that someone didn't want to spend time with you or didn't want to see you? Did you ever think that if there was something wrong with you, they wouldn't have looked for you after all these years? Obviously, they enjoyed you as a person. You were a different person. And in this chapter of your life, you don't fit that anymore. And now you become the reflection of what they don't feel they can do. So now all of a sudden, sitting next to someone, they're looking at somebody who's done what they don't feel they can. And you become the mirror reflection of not true failure, but that internal talk of not good enough. So Ted, what I say to you is, I can understand truly why that feels the way that is. But if you can look at it from the perspective of, you've run into some people who have not grown enough to be comfortable outside their own world, who have not become comfortable enough to accept something that doesn't fit within their box, something that's new to them, that's unfamiliar to them, that they don't understand. And when I say uneducated, I do not mean it in a criticism way. I mean it in a life knowledge, experience, and self-discovery type of a way. And if we can try to look at it that way and just realize they just don't fit within, they haven't grown to where I've grown to. They don't, that's not a part of it. It can become a little less painful. So I hope that helps, because that is a true example of even people who have been in our life for a long time, even people who are our DNA, even people, who we've known for forever and who probably sadly know our deep, dark secrets. And that's part of our reason that we're kind of afraid to cut them off, because at one time they knew the core. We can outgrow. And I don't mean outgrowth like we're better than someone, but life is about growth. Life is about moving forward. Life is about venturing onto new things, the same way we've talked about. How many years ago did you think you'd own the station, and now you own the station? If you'd have told me 10 years ago that I was going to go and get my diploma in hypnotherapy, and I was going to be dealing with recovery, and I was going to be dealing with I just said, shut up, you're crazy. But life grew me in a direction. Life made me see things differently. And it's that self-discovery and that growth. And sometimes we outgrow people, and in truth, sometimes people outgrow us.
Yeah.
And that happens. And there's a sadness because we feel an empty spot. We feel a loss because that's something that's been a part of what we are. But if we can look at that empty spot and that loss as an empty spot that has space, we can put something in there. But if we don't know what makes us feel good, and truthfully how we can suck, and we don't know what we enjoy, we don't truly know because we're so busy chasing around for people's approval, then how do we know what to fill in that makes us happy? Many people right now are talking about people coming down with illnesses, and I don't just mean the one that everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
for the love
there is more than just one illness that
just
people
for the
can
record,
have. Just so you know.
Just seed planting for discovery is many people are coming down with diseases, where their body. I talk to so many people, and I mean multiple that are, oh my gosh, I now have multiple autoimmune diseases and these things. And I do contribute it, yes, partially to the chemicals and the processings and the things and stuff in our foods and in our environment. But if you want to look at it from what I believe the spiritual aspect, which is how I look at most things, is it's dis-ease. You take the word disease and it's dis-ease. What if it's possible that the reason people are developing these dis-eases is because they're not following their true heart and their spirit? Because the more they resist their true heart and their spirit, because of the uncomfortable feeling that we feel when those little pieces become missing. our bodies reacting from our dis-ease of heart and spirit. And depending on what topic that is, because we all have different things that we want and that we view and that we need in our life and that we're getting pushed towards, they're affecting those parts of our body. That dis-ease is coming to our attention. Our heart and our spirit is screaming, see me, hear me. What if?
You know, it strikes me that there's a little fella that I ran into. There's a fella on TikTok. I'm a TikTok scroller. I put nothing out there. I have not put anything out there. I have not really learned how to use it other than to flip through and go, oh, that was interesting. I'll click the little follow button and then perhaps I'll see more. There is a little fellow called the Sad Guru. It's SADHGURU, who just talks about a lot of what you actually talk about. Right. And he kind of takes these things further out there. But he's talked about one about dis-ease and almost very close to what you just talked about. There is also another one that I threw out into Facebook that I found yesterday where he says you cannot build goodwill.
That'd be correct.
You can't do it. And I'm like, that's interesting. I shall hear more. And so I listened to his full little 60-second clip. Just like you said earlier when we were talking, your what if, you said what you have done has created this response in me.
Right.
But what I can do is I can give goodwill, I can give peace, I can give joy so that whoever encounters me will experience what I am giving out.
My new word for that has been grace. I can offer grace.
Grace. Yeah. And that is part of my my daily mantra: be kind, gracious, grateful, and thankful. The little grace part there is what I have to work very, very hard on, that I've been doing for years now, but I do it every day. But it's interesting that a lot of what I hear him say, I hear you say, and I don't even know if you know this guy exists.
No, I'm not a TikToker.
No,
I still haven't figured out Snapchat and Twitter, so I'm not sure how we're going to move into another thing.
I don't really get the snaps either. Twitter, we actually are out there on Twitter, by the way, 216thenet. You'll find us on Twitter if you want to follow us there.
I have to go figure out Twitter. I have a Twitter. I just don't know how to do anything with it, really.
And we tweet a lot. It's really cool that in these little things that we talk about here and that you bring to light for people, the little pieces of things that cause us some reflection. Because with this self-reflection, and it's not an easy thing to do, we've talked about that before, right. And had I not had great reason to do it, a cataclystic event in my lifetime, it happened about 10 years ago, that I would not have, I would not be where I am now, emotionally and just personality wise. I just wouldn't be where I am right now.
And in that, we have to find the strength of the self-acceptance. And that's what I mean by the New Year's resolution that will change you for a lifetime is, what if you didn't make a New Year's resolution focusing on every flaw and everything wrong? Right. What if you just accepted who you were? What if you just said, you know what, this is me, and this is me in this moment. Good, bad, sucky, fabulous, every aspect, this is just me. Yeah. And in that, really know who that is. And people, and I talk with this a lot with clients, but people don't see, within each of us is the child having a tantrum that didn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
Is the kid who got picked on. Is also the kid that won the spelling bee, or the, whatever it is for each. We are a formulation of all those things. We are the adult wise person who knows right from wrong, or we hope, or we think we do. But we're also still the little kid that didn't get what they needed, or that had the situation where they felt bad, or the girl who's broken heart, really injured her to the point that she has walls now. Why do I have those walls? I was hurt. What hurt me? And all those things. And that's what I mean by self-discovery. It's not, self-discovery does not always have to be self-brutalization. Self-discovery can be just self-acceptance of, this is me. I was the kid who wished my parents would have said this more, or, would have done this, or I wish I would have had these friends growing up, or I wish I would have been on the football team, or whatever, whatever it is for you as an individual person. And just accept that all those little things, and your adult wise self, who is successful in as many ways as they have things that they wish to change, if you really look at it from those perspectives, and just accept all of who you are. Then moving forward, I'm not as thin as I wish I would be, and I wish I had more hair. Anybody can come up with that fix? Well, I'm good. I wish
Rogaine for men. I don't know if it works on the ladies, but
actually, there's a new light cap I'm trying to discover into. But just find those acceptances and know them, and have your New Year's resolution be to have complete understanding of self. And what I promise you will happen is that when we have complete understanding for self and who we are, then we choose what to change. But we don't choose it because, oh my God, society is going to think I'm too fat, or society thinks I should wear this, or, oh my God, I don't have the car that's the cool car. Whatever our personal thing is, we don't do it for that reason. We do it because you go, you know what? When I eat better, I feel better. I can tell I feel better. I feel different.
And simple little things, and listen to your body on that.
Yes.
Not that this is a nutrition show, but I love beef. Well, but my body has said, you know what, dude? Nearly 54 years of beef, you've had enough. You
need to stop it. Yeah. And then you know what? In truth, ask your body, what do I need to do to solve that? What do I need to cleanse? What do I need to do? Where does that come from? And there really are reasons for this. And I say it because you guys have seen, those of you who follow regularly have seen me do demonstrations on the air with people who, bless your hearts, again, I'm always grateful for my friends who sacrifice themselves here on the air. But you see, when I ask them, as we're talking about things and they're bringing up traumas and emotions, where's your body responding? Where's your body reacting? And when they say where their body's responding and reacting, and I tell them what that body part means and what that says, you see them go, absolutely, that's how I feel about it. Because your body physically is responding to your reactions. Your body's physically doing those things. So when we ignore them and we push them aside and we're not following what our heart and our spirit, which is how I say our body talks, okay? When we're not following what's true to our heart and our spirit and true to our, here, this one will set Pete off, true to our destiny as to who we are and what we are, then our body retaliates because it doesn't fit. The energy is not right. And our heart and our spirit become in dis-ease. And when we continue in dis-ease from what our truth is, from what our heart says, from what our spirit knows, from the truth of who we are, we continue in that for too long, our dis-ease comes quite closely together. Our dis-ease becomes partnership.
Yeah.
And our dis-ease becomes disease. And that is why I am wholeheartedly in belief that we can improve our health through our state of mind beyond what people even realize. By releasing the dis-ease, by releasing the discomfort. Now, am I telling you on the air that I have the cure for all? No, I am not. But I do truly believe that we can backpedal a little bit with some of these things. We can backpedal if we recognize it. So that is, again, why would the New Year's resolution of just completely accepting self, good and bad, ugly, all it, and you do not have to go and throw yourself on the ground and sacrifice yourself to anybody that you think you made a mistake with. That's not what I mean either.
Okay, Wendy does ask for a question. Wendy Munson says, what does chronic elimination mean?
I'm assuming she's referring to her bowel system.
I have no idea.
I need to know that.
What are you referring, Wendy? What does chronic elimination mean? I'm
assuming that she's referring to bowel systems. I'm going to go with that.
No idea.
And when we are constipated and we're struggling, okay, and everything's being held, it means that we are having discomfort with digesting what's happening in our world, digesting what's happening in our life. We're having a struggle digesting it, and we are holding on to something from our life, our past, we're holding on to something so tight we won't let go of. So we become very, very constipated. And sometimes following that, if we finally come to a realization or a comfort with something, we will have to release all of that, which can be excessive. If you're finding that this is a regular problem that is not preceded with a constipated type of an issue, then you are trying desperately to run away from and release all kinds of things that you don't want to look at. You're saying, nope, 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 I'm not going to feel that. I'm not going to look at it. Nope, nope, I'm not going to feel that. I'm not going to look at it. Get it through, get it through, get it through, get it through, get it through. Because our digestive tract is how we digest our world around us.
So you are on target. You are on target with what she was talking. I'm not going to put that up on the screen because, but you're on target with exactly
our
what she was.
Our digestive tract is how we digest our world. We digest what we see. We digest how we see it. We digest our acceptance or lack of acceptance, and that can affect our digestive and our bowel systems. And again, constipation means we're holding on to things too tight that we're not willing to let go of. And the opposite is we're trying to rush them through, or we've either made acceptance and we're doing release. Okay.
Well, she is not holding. It's the opposite of.
Then it would be running from what she doesn't want to see and accept.
Yeah. So
trying to push through the emotion, the things that we're ingesting. So we ingest food and we digest food, right? So the emotions, the things that we're seeing, the mind talk, all of the heart, spirit stuff that we're ingesting, we're saying, no, get it out. I don't want to see it. I'm afraid of it. I don't want to see it.
Okay.
Can be very beneficial when we stop and we accept ourselves for all of our past.
Yeah.
All of our now.
Yep.
And say, you know what? I'm going to accept this because this is what's real. And now I'm going to choose my decision as to what sucks. And I choose to change. And what I don't choose to change, or what I'm not ready to change. Sometimes we know we need to change something. And when you ask, I had a client the other day that I said this to. I used a metaphor, and I don't have time to do the whole metaphor, but you guys all know I like metaphors. And I said, as you're doing this process of bringing these things up and getting them and facing them, and I did similar to what I did with Anita, bring it up, feel it, let it go. Do you need to feel it? Going through this process with her. I said, there will be times when you go to your quiet place, because it is just tools, and I hope that the clients go home and use them. I'm just tools. That's it. I'm not magic. I said, and there will be times when you ask yourself, am I ready? And you truly go to your place, you do your breathing, and you ask yourself, am I ready to allow my unconscious mind to let this go and my conscious mind to be aware of it? And there will be occasions when your true heart initial response is no.
Yeah. And she says, you're on target. I always want to run away, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. And you're manifesting the runs.
Right.
That's not a delicate way to say that.
Well, kind of what you're doing is your body is responding to your emotional state.
Yeah.
Your body is responding to your mental emotional reaction to it. And your body is triggered by that because the mind and the body are connected. We know that, right? Because our brain tells us our foot hurts if we fall. Right? That's the nervous system. It's the connection. Yeah. Those things are there. And it's no different with emotions. The mind and the body are connected. And like when I did with Anita and we took down, we couldn't see it on video. And that's why I really hope people start watching the YouTube, since you couldn't see with her on video. But when we went into the breathing and I was getting her calm and I was getting her into that state, and I said, now focus on the heart, the pumping of the heart, and allow those walls that protect you to fall. You're perfectly safe right now. Just the idea of her doing that brought tears and trembling, and it was so scary to her to be able to do that. And so when our heart, what people don't realize is our physical heart is a muscle, but it's also a brain. So it's part of our brain, and our heart actually communicates with our brain more than our brain communicates with our heart. So by the self-acceptance, you're going into your heart space. And many of us have put walls and guards around that sucker that are blocking it from other people harming it. The sadness to that and the difficulty to that is because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to be hurt. We don't want people to see our soft sides. The sad part in doing that and not allowing that risk, so to speak, is that we also blocked it off from ourselves. Because in all those walls and rules and walls and, things that we've put around it to protect ourselves, it can no longer communicate to our brain. So since our heart does communicate to our brain, what is it saying? Trust no one. Don't be vulnerable. Be tough. It's telling us all these things that can't communicate. So if we can, even in our quiet moments when we're safe, take those walls down and allow that flow and really respect and honor ourselves to know what that feels like, that is when we begin to heal. Do it in the beginning with your safe side. So not everybody has to come on the air and throw their truth out to everybody and cry and be vulnerable and all that stuff like I do. That's not a requirement.
No.
But by yourself. Even with yourself. And when you can allow that and you can let that connection take place again and you can really know where those are, your body becomes more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's no longer, do you know how much energy it takes to fake it? It's absolutely exhausting. And anger is exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely exhausting. And here's the challenge, and nobody even has to answer it. I know we're running out of time.
We got about 4 minutes.
Think of a moment, all of you listening, think of a moment in time when you were very vulnerable and you offered a genuine love and kindness to someone. We've all had that moment, whether we want to admit it or not. And really allow yourself to remember that moment. Did you feel exhausted or energized?
Well, for me, I felt pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's energizing. That's our spirit. That's our heart and our spirit talking. Our body feels energized. We feel happy. We feel energized. We want to go do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
We do that. But because we're very protective of disregarding and ignoring the difficult, disregarding and ignoring our role in things, disregarding and ignoring all these things that feel uncomfortable, we put all these walls and all these boundaries and all these borders around our heart. And our heart, the only way it can communicate with our brain now is to scream, block it off, don't do it, don't feel it. So if we can take those down, even momentarily, or if we're blessed enough to have someone that we trust enough to allow into that space and allow our brain to remember what that feels like, that's how we start to rediscover what is happiness to me, what is peace to me, what is those things. So as we're running out of time, again, my New Year's resolution is accept yourself wholly and completely. Good, bad, sucky, fabulous, every fat, thin, bald, scarred aspect, whatever it is for you personally, right now in this moment, where you are, who you are completely. Because if you're waiting for society's approval, I ask you to look at your news, look at your outside, look at your environment, look at what's going on in the world, and ask if these are the people that you want to tell you how to be.
How about no? But Ted says that is amazing. Just what my wife and I are going through. Wendy says, fabulous show with many, many exclamation points. And I will say that is probably the only New Year resolution I've ever heard that will actually last a lifetime if you use it. And it's a tough one. It's probably the hardest New Year's resolution I have ever heard offered
Sometimes
up.
the most difficult things have the greatest rewards.
But I still have to, even though, again, I reflect back on a situation in my life that occurred 10 years ago. And it's that's a decade old event that still spurns me through every day that I get up and I say, be kind, gracious, grateful, and thankful. Be kind, gracious, grateful, and thankful. And to spread that on, and as much as I possibly can. I'm not always very good at it. I'm really not.
Here's the beautiful part of the self-acceptance.
Yeah.
That there would come a time, and I promise this, through this process, there would come a time when you no longer had to wake up and say that. You just were that.
Yeah. And
You just were. Because the heart allowed it to be. The heart allowed someone else's flaws. The heart allowed someone else's mistakes. You know why? You know why we can allow that? And it does not mean to accept it into your life, but to allow it and forgive it and not carry that knife with us that cuts that off. Because we've now accepted that we have all those same things. We have made all those same mistakes. We have been all those same things. Every single thing that we judge in another human being, we have probably been at another time, and therefore we judge.
So that brings us to the end of another wonderful show. Actually, the last one of the year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, normally we would say, isn't it sad that the year is over? No, it is not sad the year is over. I am blessed and grateful that 2020 is over. And I actually, even with all the craziness going on and the things that have happened in these last few weeks, I still have a spark of light in me for 2021. And part of it has been through what I'm talking about today. Kind of getting my ass kicked in some aspects and being blessed in others, and taking some time, just yesterday even, to sit down at the dam and just kind of self-reflect and cry. Not the ugly cry or anything, but just self-reflect and really go, you know what, Lisa, where's your role here? What are you looking for? And I encourage everybody to do it. And it's not always easy. And sometimes I do cry at the dam, and you know what? So the hell what?
Yeah. And Ted says, great show. What an eye-opener. Donna,
Mommy.
Your mom, says, wonderful show as always. Ted says, Happy New Year to you both. And Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year. May miracles come true. Blessings be beyond words. And hardships be easy to face.
And we'll see you next year. So long, everybody.
Bye.